Hey everyone, it's Jaclyn. So today I'm going to share with you guys my go-to makeup look. This is kind of like my like polished but not too glam makeup. Okay, anyways, let's just hop into it. So I'm going to start off with my foundation and mix a little bit of a liquid highlighter in there. I like to go for more of a medium coverage foundation, and in that video clip I just used that palette to look really fancy and really makeup artisty, but in real life I normally just mix it on the back of my hand and then pop that all over my skin. So I'm going to take a fluffy, dense fluffy, dense blending brush and buff that all into my skin. So I like to use a combination of stippling motions to add more coverage in certain areas, and then just like a circular buffing motion to blend it all out and make it look nice and airbrushed. I like to add in those liquid highlighting drops to my foundation just because, especially in the wintertime, my skin is just extra dull and I just find it gives me a nice dewy, fresh finish. And I look a little greasy, but I'm kind of into it. I'm also not really going to focus on specific products in this video just because I feel like this type of makeup look can be achieved with things from the drugstore, things from high-end. I want it to focus more on the techniques and the reasons why I'm doing things versus specific products. So next up, I'm going to go in with some concealer. I like to use more of a medium coverage concealer, and I kind of apply that in an upside down right angle triangle, if that makes any sense. And I find it gives me like a little bit of a highlighting effect, as well as obviously covering up my discoloration under there. And again, I'm just going in with another synthetic little buffing brush for under there and blending it all out. Then I'm just going to set everything in place. I normally like to use a loose powder. This one here is actually a little like yellow tinted, which I find again kind of brightens up under there. And I just find setting it and kind of baking it really helps it not crease and not get crepey. And that's really the only place I've been setting with powder, just because, like I said, I like my skin to look extra glowy and dewy, especially as of lately. So next up, I'm going in with a little bit of cream bronzer, I guess you would say. This is actually a foundation stick, but it's nice and warm, so it kind of acts like a contour, but the warmth really makes you look a little more bronzed up. So I'm just gonna again blend that out with a buffing brush, and I like to keep the cheek, the kind of jawline, a bit more harsh, so that way it acts as a bit of definition as well. But yeah, just going into the hairline along the bottom of the non-existent jawline to create a jawline. We are, you know, adding some dimension to the face. See, it looks like we've been sitting in the sun now, which I haven't because I've been getting very pale in winter, but we can fool everyone. Next up, we're going to do some blush. Now, I feel like blush is super underrated. I used to hate blush when I was younger too, but now I just love it. I find it really pulls together the face. So I'm just doing a bit of a bright corally blush. Again, adding a bit of life into this dull skin. And it looks super patchy on my left cheek, but I'm going to say that was just the lighting. Probably wasn't though. Next up, moving on to eyebrows. I like to use more of an eyebrow pencil just because I find it gives me a bit more control and precision. And I like to go actually a little heavier on the top of the eyebrow. I find it makes them look nice and clean and crisp, and I just kind of blend that out with a spoolie brush. But yeah, I typically need a bit more product towards the tail of my eyebrows because they get a bit more sparse, so I just go a bit heavier handed there. And I normally like my eyebrows to kind of fade, so they start out a bit lighter towards the head of the brow and get darker and more defined towards the end, towards the tail of the eyebrow. Ooh, and I've been loving doing a bit of brow gel. I've been like a brow gel fanatic the past few months. It just really makes sure everything is nice and locked in place. And it's just kind of is like a satisfying thing to do. I just enjoy that part of the eyebrows. Moving on to some eyeshadow. I'm really lazy. I've always been super lazy when it comes to eyeshadow. I normally just like to take the bronzer that I used on my face and put that through the socket, whether it's cream or powder. I just put that through the crease and along the lower lash line and then just buff it out with a fluffy brush, and you are good to go. It just gives a bit of definition, but without looking too overly done up. Then I'm going to go in with a little bit of liquid liner. I find brown eyeliner is so underrated, but I've been loving it recently. It just, you know, gives you that definition, gives that little flick towards the end, but without looking too harsh. I find black eyeliner can sometimes be a bit too jarring, especially I find on like lighter eyes, like I've got more greeny bluey eyes, and the black liner can sometimes be such a contrast that it's a little too dramatic for what I'm going for. But the brown is just the perfect amount. Then I'm going to go in with some mascara on the top and bottom lashes, just one coat, nothing too crazy. And then finishing this off, I'm going to do a little bit of a lip. I love a nice defined lip. Even if it's a neutral color, I find, you know, taking the time with a lip liner and really getting that precise, even shape, it will do wonders to the face. And on the top lip, I like to overline a little bit just to balance out with my bottom lip, and then fill that in with whatever lipstick or lip gloss of your choice. And then just to make sure everything looks nice and fresh, I'm going to take that liquid highlighter that I mixed in with the foundation originally, pop that directly on my finger and onto the cheekbone, and blend it out, and you are good to go. So that is basically it. Nothing too crazy, but just enough, you know what I mean? Tuck the hair behind your ears, and you can call it a day. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. Let me know what you think down below in the comments, and I'll see you guys very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye! On my inner corner. And then on the lid, I'm taking that duochrome pigment from Inglot and just putting that all over the eyelid. Then I'm just taking a bit of a matte black shadow and popping that on the outer V and on the lower lash line. So at this point, I was kind of feeling like my scales were looking a little one-dimensional. So I got this white liquid eyeliner and I kind of cut off the tip of it so it wasn't pointy. It was more like a flat little stamper tool.